everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today this video is going to be a bit different. It's something that I was actually debating whether or not to make a video on it, but honestly, like when I was really looking into it, this is such a meaningful part of my journey that I have started that I feel that I should share it with those who feel, that they can't accomplish certain things. These are 5 books that I highly recommend if you're looking into not just being an entrepreneur, but being better in life, whether it's in your 9-to-5 job or in your relationships or your financial status. It is The Unlimited Powers by Tony Robbins. It made me realize that the problems I thought I had in my life are not that big or that serious to, make myself feel so little, Like sometimes we have all these problems and we're thinking that, they're taking over our lives, but really they're not. The only reason why you think they're taking over your lives is because you think they're taking over your lives, but they're not. And this book really does help you change your mindset and understand that you are in charge of what you feel and what you do in life. He also talks about his failures and how he managed to become successful. Tony Robbins is known all over the world. It's not just in North America, but all over the world. And he didn't come from a well-equipped family. He says that he had a very rough childhood, and there were even times where he would go to sleep without food in his stomach. Like, all these things make you wonder, wow, if he could do it, why can't I? You know what I mean? And he really does want to explain to the public that you too can be successful. All you have to do is just change your mindset. It definitely was the life-changing experience book I needed to go ahead and read other books. When I finished reading Unlimited Powers, I was like, wow, right? I need another one. I need another book. And I was like, what other book can I get? And then I started remembering about this book that I was recommended. This is the book that changed my life 360. Like, many times in the job I have was the job I was getting paid the most, and for some reason I felt that I was even more broke than if I were to have my first job, which was getting paid $8 an hour working part-time. And reason why is because I wasn't good at managing my money. He talks about you don't really need a college degree to become successful. I was born in a household that, my mom always kept saying, you need to go to school, you need to go to college, you need to do this in order to be successful. And quite frankly, I didn't like the concept of having to pick my career path in a matter of days or weeks, whatever, and study that for years, and that's going to be my career. And honestly, the only reason I went to college was, one, because of my mother, and second of all my friends went to college. Like, all my friends went to college right after high school. I didn't, because I didn't have the money. I had to get a job. So I enrolled the following year to college, and I picked a career path that I obviously don't like, but I just did it to be in school, and I spent so much money on an education that at the end of the day was not in me, at all. So reading this book, he explains about overcoming bad habits, laziness, comparing yourself. He basically opened my mind to realize that there's so many opportunities to become successful. All you have to do is put in the work and get the education you need in order to succeed. And what I really like is how he differentiates, your assets and your liabilities. And he explains on how you can have cash flow, which is very important. So highly recommend this book. If there's any book out of all the books that I'm going to mention to you, this is the one you need to go out and buy. He makes it so easy for you to understand how to become successful that after you read this book, you're going to be so inspired to read all the finance books that there are, because that's how I feel about it. So after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, this is the first book out of 3. Rich Dad's Cash Flow Quadrant and Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. So the Cash Flow Quadrant. So this one is a very good book because it explains to you which quadrant you are. And E is for employee. So you are investing time for money. You know, you clock in, you clock out, and the hours you work for, that is what you're getting paid for. Then there is the self-employed, and those are if you create your own business and you do everything yourself. You know, you created the website, you pack and ship your orders, and you pretty much are in charge of your business all by yourself. And then there is the business owner, which is you overlook at your company, but you don't really do much. You don't really invest too much time in the company. Like you do, but you don't work as hard as a self-employed. You know, you don't pack and ship your own shipment. And then the investor quadrant. And he really goes into detail explaining to you each quadrant and how you can move from the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant, which is what we're trying to do. 2020 Guide to Investing was, I want to say, the best one. Not between this one and Rich Dad Poor Dad, it's a very tough competition. But I will say I picked Rich Dad Poor Dad just because it was the first book to really change my mindset and really open my eyes to all these opportunities. But what I love about Guides to Investing is he gives you very in-depth information on how to invest, why you should invest. And there was one thing I read that, you know, being an entrepreneur, I know it's not easy. I know you have to invest a lot of time, effort in the beginning, you know, to grow your company from the ground up. But, you know, you should never give up just because it's the easy route. It's easier to find a 9-to-5 job and be financially secure, you know, having a paycheck every 2 weeks. But you should always remember the bigger picture, especially as to why you started your entrepreneurship. You know, what is your ultimate goal? Is it to be financially free? Is it to be you know, have more time with your family, being able to travel? I don't know, maybe it is to buy yourself luxury items or whatever the case may be, but always remember why you started. And in Guide to Investing, there is this amazing paragraph that he wrote that I actually want to share with you so you can kind of get an idea as to why I love these books. What I'm talking to you about is more than just ideas. I'm talking about your spirit and the will to go on, even when filled with doubt and out of good ideas. No one can tell you what you can or cannot do in your life. Only you determine that. Your own greatness is often found at the end of the road, and when it comes to turning your ideas into money, there are many times where you come to the end of the road. The end of the road is when you are out of ideas, out of money, and filled with doubt. If you can find it in yourself, the spirit to go on, you will find out what it really takes to turn your ideas into great assets. Turning an idea into a great fortune is more a matter of human spirit rather than the power of the humankind. At the end of every road, the entrepreneur finds his or her spirit. Finding your entrepreneurial spirit and making it strong is more important than the idea or business you're developing. Once you find your entrepreneurial spirit, you will forever be able to take very ordinary ideas and turn them into extraordinary fortunes. always remember the world is filled with people with great ideas and very few people with great fortunes. I mean, come on. And that's just one paragraph out of this book. And this book was a pretty big book, as you can see. So I thought that message was so beautifully written because it is true. Last but not least, it's not really a financial book, but you know, when being an entrepreneur and or working on your business or being an employee, working 9 to 5, whatever the case may be, the biggest asset you have is time. And if you don't manage your time well, it's going to be very hard for you to accomplish things. You know, it's going to take longer. You're not going to be 100% focused. You're going to always feel like you have something that you need to finish something else because you didn't accomplish it, because you didn't manage your time well. So this book is The Morning Miracle, and it's by Erod. I think I'm saying it right. And it says the not so obvious secret guarantee to transform your life before 8 a.m. Being able to manage your time and really be in control of your time is so very important. So I highly recommend The Miracle Morning for you to read. And you know, many of us are frustrated that we don't have enough time to do the things we want to do, but honestly, you do. We all have the same 24 hours. It's just how you manage those 24 hours that lets you have what you want in life. And reading this book can really change your life when it comes to that, because it feels so good to just wake up early in the morning, do all these things, and have all this time after to work on whatever it is I'm working on. Like right now I'm working on trying to start a business, and you know, I'm taking a course, I'm reading financial books, I'm trying to learn about stocks, I'm trying to learn a lot of things, and it does take time. You know, reading a book does take time. Taking a course takes a couple of hours as well. And how would I do that if I'm waking up late every day? So yeah, those are the 5 books that changed my life. And I hope you at least pick up 1 or 2 of the ones I recommended. I'll have them linked down in the description box. And if you don't like to read, we are in the best time right now. You don't even have to buy a book and read it. You can have someone read it to you, which to this day I'm like a bit shocked about it. I love reading books. I love having it in my hand and reading it. But for those of you that don't like reading books, I'm pretty sure all these books are an audiobook and you can have someone read it to you. So there's no reason why you can't get this information in. And until next time, bye.